Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Candy and I go by Share Cards. Today I am making a couple of slimline cards for you. I'm using the Traditional Trimmings paper pad from Brutus Monroe. I believe most of the products are from Brutus Monroe and I will link them down below. I took two pieces of their 6x6 paper pad and cut them in half. So these will be at 3 inches by 6 inches, which will be nice for the pre-cut bases that I use. I'm going to stick them on my stick and snap mat here, and then I also took a piece of scrap paper to cover up the other piece of stick and snap mat, and on this I have my Blending Buddy, which gives me a perfect A2 square there. I'm going to go ahead and put the Christmas tree stencil over the top with some pixie spray, which I sprayed off screen here. And that just helps to keep it from moving around, especially when I'm using pastes. And I'm going to just kind of line it up here, add a little bit of pixie tape by Thermoweb, and then I'm going to use the Fallen Snow glitter glaze, which is my favorite glitter glaze. I will repeat this with my other piece of pattern paper and the Starscape stencil. And then I'll put those aside to dry. They don't take very long to dry. It just kind of depends on the humidity and how thick you put it on. I like to use a small spatula first and then use this stencil type pal to drag it over to get an even coat. I do try to go in one direction when I use the stencil pal. Especially if I have an intricate stencil, so that I keep from any kind of slipping underneath the stencil. And that's another reason why I use pixie spray, because that kind of helps adhere it down more so it doesn't kind of bleed out. So to remove a piece of paper from your Blending Buddy, which I didn't do here, I will do on the next one, you need to bend it back on itself like here, and then it will just pop off. If you don't do that, you have a tendency, the paper tends to curl. So you just gently bend it back on itself. I do not scrub my stick and stamp mat. I just kind of wipe it off. I actually usually keep one. This one's just specifically for glazes and other mediums like that, so that if it does get a little less sticky, it's okay. You don't want to clean it with anything harsh. You can just rinse it under any harsh cleaners. You can just rinse it under the sink, or you can just gently wipe it off with a non-fibrous cloth. I just try to be very careful and not rub it so that it maintains its stickiness. And then once it dries, it's sticky again. So while we're doing this next panel, I will explain a little bit. Today is a hop that is a hashtag driven hop. If you click on the hashtag Team Tiny December 2023 hop, it will take you to the other participants. These are for people who have smaller following and subscribers on YouTube to try to help us get more people. So if you do like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, smash the subscribe button and you'll get more content from me. So as I finish up this last page here, this last little bit here, I'll tell you, this took about an hour to dry or so. I did have a heater going in my room. I also sometimes put them in the window in the sun to get them to dry faster, or I will do them overnight. I believe that I did not have to cut these down at all. And here I'm just showing you how to use the extra. This was almost, this glaze was almost gone, so I'm just kind of spreading it on a piece of scrap paper as thin as I can, and I did not use it on this project, but I will die cut it. Here I have the two cardstocks I am using for mats and for my focal panels. There is the Holly and the Harvest. I'm going to cut these down to 3 1/4 by 6, which means I needed to trim my panels on my pattern paper panels down 1/4 of an inch. So they will be 3 by 5.75 inches. So that way I can mat them. One thing I like to do with my mats is, especially if I'm going to use some pattern paper, is cut my sentiment strips or my other layers out of the middle, which you will see me do here. This is the Tim Holtz trimmer. It's not the mini trimmer. He has like a smaller one than this, but it's just the guillotine trimmer. I am going to, so you can see them lined up kind of perfectly. I was checking them out. I'm going to use the St. Nicholas stamp set with the Santa Claus with the one, and the Scandinavian holiday with the Christmas tree background. So I'm using the Hero Art Infinity ovals, and I'm measuring that up to fit with my snowman or my Santa Claus. And then I'm using some old Spellbinder Nestabilities, the circle and then the scallop circle that's one bigger, to cut out my image, my focal image, and then out of some white cardstock, a mat. So I will quickly go die cut those off screen, and then you will see when I get back. I'm also lining the scallop circle right up in the middle because I will use that as a mat on another card. So once I get those out, I'm going to get my MISTI here and line up my images in them. This one's the holly. Like I said, I'm going to line it up in the bottom and put my St. Nicholas on there, treat it with some anti-static powder tool, and then I'm going to use the Brutus Monroe embossing ink to stamp my image out. I will repeat this with the deer image from the Scandinavian holiday set, and then I will cover both of them with my favorite embossing powder, which is the Fairy Dust by Brutus Monroe. It has just a little bit of glitter in it, and it's like a clear, and so it gives lots and lots of sparkle. So once I have that all done, I will heat emboss them, and then I will let them sit for a minute before I wipe off any extra anti-static powder on it. I go by Sugar Cards on Instagram and on Facebook. And obviously my YouTube channel is Candy V Sugar Cards. So if you'd like to, I go live on Wednesday nights and craft live. So if you subscribe to my channel, you can see that. And I really hope you are enjoying this hop, and you have found some, and you'll find some new people, creators to follow. So I keep all of my embossing powder, that's my favorite, in these little Tupperware tubs, and I either use a triangle tray or a spoon. I kind of let the embossing powder sit for a minute and I lightly tap it. Sometimes I do it twice just to make sure I cover it really well. I don't flick it too much because I know sometimes that flicks off the embossing powder. When I heat set it, I'm going to use my tweezers here. These are from Pink Fresh Studios. And I'm going to heat my gun up on the side of my arm just a little bit until it's warm. And then I will heat set this, turning it in the light to make sure everything is shiny. Now be very careful with your heat gun. It can burn, so it gets hot very quickly. And also, if you heat set your embossing powder too long, it can burn and get dull. So you just want to do it until it's shiny. Then once those are done, like I said, I will wipe off the extra powder that's around them just to bring back the color of the cardstock. But I do want to wait until they've cooled off just a little bit so that the embossing powder isn't hot, because you can smear it. So I'm going to get everything ready here. Here I am going to wipe those off quick. And I'm going to use some liquid glue and some ATG gun to attach everything to my card. I hope you're all having a great December. I can't believe Christmas is upon us. I have about 5 or 6 more Christmas cards I definitely need to make, and then I'll be done. So here I've got my, I layered my deer on the scallop circle, used an acrylic block here to hold it while it dries, and then I'm using a little liquid glue to attach it to the mat. No one will ever notice that that centerpiece was cut out of it once I glue it down. Now, I should have used ATG gun here because it didn't stick the best right away, so I had to hurry up and kind of put it down, use a little more ATG gun on this side than I wanted. But I do use some pre-cut, pre-scored mini mini slim card bases from Brutus Monroe. I love the card bases. I use them all the time. I'm going to quickly line up my, use some glue to, I used both, I think I used both ATG gum and liquid glue to attach it because there's a little bit of that glitter underneath from the glitter glaze. And then I'll let my acrylic block hold it while it kind of dries a little bit more while I put the other card together. So this time I decided to put the mat on the card base first, trying to center that as best as possible. And then I will layer my pattern paper with the glitter glaze. And then in this case, I didn't mat the focal image. I just put it down on top. My sentiments came from the St. Nicholas stamp set, and they were stamped with Brutus Monroe Raven Detail ink on the Perfect Blend paper, which is my favorite paper for alcohol markers. And I had been making cards earlier in the day, so I just stamped some extra sentiments out, and then I die cut them out with the coordinating dies. Both these stamp sets have coordinating dies for all of the images and sentiments, but for this one I used both these sentiments came from the St. Nicholas set. Then I trying to just decide here where to put my sentiments. I decided on the ho 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 for our Santa card, and I believe I used Celebrate the Season for the other one. I don't quite remember here. We'll put it down here in a minute. I know I have to, if I haven't done so, I will trim off the excess off the side on my card. Yes, I did use Celebrate the Season there, and I put it up in the right corner right over some of those glitter trees. And there we have our cards. So Mini Slim is my favorite. Which one of these two is your favorite? So I left a couple of cards or images here, close-ups of my cards. Do you make Christmas cards at all? Or do you make Christmas cards and not send them out? My goal this year is to send out cards. I have a list. So thank you for joining me. Have a great night. And I will see you soon. Bye.